Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production. Take 2.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? Now, we're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Or, your father was right. You were an idiot, and everything you watched was stupid. So buckle up, movie aficionados. Over-the-top gore? Check. Over-embellished action? Check. Gratuitous nudity? Double check. Storylines so absurd you could drive a semi-truck through those plot holes. Oh yeah, some of those movies didn't even know what a movie plot was. And that's the way we liked it. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Did you see this one at all either?
Yeah, no, I've seen the Santa Claus. Literally, like maybe the year after it came out, and then I never watched it again.
Oh, you never seen it? Oh, you haven't seen it since then.
Yeah, no, because
You watched it like back in the 80s?
No, wait,
Oh, you're
Santa
thinking of
Claus or the Santa Claus?
No, not the Tim Allen movie.
Oh,
Oh, you picked this one by mistake. That's awesome.
actually, I didn't pick any one really. So, have I seen this movie?
From 1985?
I don't know if I've seen it.
Oh, okay. I saw it in the 80s as well, and that was the last time I saw it.
Hold on, let me look at some images.
John Lithgow, Dudley Moore.
Dudley Moore looks really familiar in it. Is this why I remember him being dressed as an elf? Because every time I think of Dudley Moore, I think of an elf. Interesting. Okay, so I have a feeling I have seen it, but I remember nothing of it.
Welcome to the I Remember Like That Movie podcast. We are on our way to Christmas, and why not watch a real Christmas movie like the Santa Claus? Not the one Anna thought we were going to watch with Tim Allen. This is actually the one with Dudley Moore from 1985 and John Lithgow.
Well, when you wrote Santa Claus, I'm pretty sure you wrote it with an E.
Oh, I might have, yeah.
So you just wrote Santa Claus. So I was like, oh, he means the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. Yeah, okay, sure, whatever. And then you're like, no, just Santa Claus from
That's a great movie
1985.
too. The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. That was a great movie.
It is.
I
It's
remember.
fine.
Yeah.
Tim Allen gets on my nerves though, so I can't watch it without wanting to
love
punch
Tim
the
Allen.
screen.
I like
Hate him.
Home Improvement. I like The Last Man Stand. He's got a new one coming out with Kat Jennings.
I believe you.
Yeah.
He gets on my nerves. I keep watching stuff that he's in to see if I've gotten over my aversion to him.
And
So
he's
far,
Buzz
no
Lightyear.
go. Buzz Lightyear, I'm fine with him because I don't see his face. He has a very punchable face, and it's not his fault. Okay, this is totally in my head. It has a little bit to do with him because I hear he's a douchebag. But I mean, he has a very punchable face. So every time I see his face, I'm like, I kind of want to punch him. And it's bad because then when he's dressed as Santa Claus, I feel like an asshole because I want to punch Santa Claus. So I can't watch the Santa Claus. But I was willing to do it for the podcast. But then I didn't.
Well, have no fear because we're not. This is the 1985 Christmas. Yeah. So
Okay.
you don't even know if you've seen it.
I don't know if I've seen it. Now, when I was looking at some images from this movie, I saw Dudley Moore dressed as an elf. And I
Mhm.
was like, okay, this seems super familiar. But that's it. Like some of the scenes look kind of familiar, but I'm like, is it just because I've seen images of it or have I actually seen the movie? So this is gonna be a crapshoot. We're gonna see if I actually have watched the movie or not.
I have seen it. It has been a very, very, very long time. And last year it was either going to, I think we put this in and we actually chose Christmas Star. Was that what it was called?
Oh,
Um,
right.
oh, what was
No.
it? It was with the
It's the
angel and the.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Christmas Star. Shit,
Oh
I
my
can't remember.
God, this is now bugging me. What's her name?
Mary Seed
What's
Virgin was in it.
Yes, she was. And we didn't really we
We
didn't
did not
hate
like this
them.
movie.
Yeah, it was really that movie was a
We
little
did not like
depressing
it.
for Christmas.
Yeah. We were like, why would you make people watch this at the happiest time of year? Oh, one Magic
One
Christmas.
Magic Christmas. Okay, yep.
We got there. We got there.
All right. So
Eventually, it
and
took us a while.
yeah, so I have seen this. I do remember John Lithgow being the villain. Remember Roger Dudley Moore being the elf. I do remember the guy playing Santa. I remember candy canes, and they want to. It's a very corporate or anti-corporate, and they want to create a new Christmas to
Mm.
compete and make even more money. It's Christmas in July, and something about candy canes. It's all I remember. That doesn't help a lot.
Well, no, I mean,
Well,
the
Dudley Moore's an elf, and he gets pissed, and he goes out and he hooks up with this corporate guy, and they decide to make a new Christmas, Christmas 2, I think they call it, and then
hooks up with this corporate guy.
yeah, something to do with candy canes. I don't know why, but it has something to do with candy canes.
I
And
believe you.
I could
I'm
be
now
talking about a completely different fucking movie.
I am now leaning towards not having seen this movie. Oh,
All
this will be
right.
fun.
Well, let's check it at the box office. Released November 27th. Thank you, 1985. Budget of $50 million. Oh my, for
Oh my
1985?
god.
My God. That is a lot of money for 1985. We just did a couple back Lethal Weapon and just 2 years later for 15 million. I hope this has a lot of fucking explosions and people blowing up.
Holy crap.
Domestic 23.7 million. International 25,000. So a total of $23.7 million. This is a bomb.
Yeah.
This did not
No,
recoup.
this is terrible.
Like Blockbuster, it might have been around in 19, but it was not as huge as it was late 80s, all through the 90s and early 2000s. So yeah, you probably made a bit of money with some VHS sales, but not 23 million.
Yeah, no.
Whew. It opened on a Wednesday and brought in $1.4 million, almost 1.5 in its first 2 days in 907 theaters. Its first weekend, Thanksgiving long weekend, it finished in second place with 5.6 behind new release, Rocky 4,
Ooh.
which brought in almost 4 times as much as that. It did open ahead of our favorite, One Magic Christmas, in third place, which was in its second week of release. For context, One Magic Christmas had a 7.5 million budget. And I
Yeah.
will say this, when those kids in One Magic Christmas did go to the North Pole,
Mhm.
it looked fantastic.
It did.
It did. That
It
was
did.
one of the better things of that movie.
Yeah.
And that cost 7.5. This cost 50.
I want to see where the money went.
The following weekend, it dropped to fourth place behind still number 1 Rocky 4, still bringing in 4 times as much.
Mm.
Number 2 Spies Like Us. I remember that movie, kind of.
Oh.
Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
Number 3 White Knights, but ahead of new release Young Sherlock Holmes, which is one of my favorite childhood movies, number 5. By December 13th weekend, it was bumped up to 1,316 theaters and came in at number 5. By December 20th weekend, it was bumped up again to a total of 1,585 theaters and stayed in number 5. It would make most of its money by its 5th weekend, but stayed in limited theaters for another 52 weeks, bringing back around to Christmas 1986 in a handful of theaters.
Jesus.
But it didn't make enough money.
No, it did not.
And I this picture is actually, I don't know if it just released, because I was thinking about, they just came out with a 4K, and I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? Because it's on sale because it's Christmas time. And I'm like, and then I started looking at some stuff, and I'm like, maybe I'll rent it. We'll see.
Wait. I'm having a question. I'm going to look it up real quick
Sure.
because
You want to know who the Santa Claus is? Yeah. Yeah. And the guy who plays Santa Claus, if you take a look at David Huddleston, who's been in stuff like The Producers, Blazing Saddles, The Big
Mhm.
Lebowski. You know him. You know his face. He's been in a lot. You know his face and his voice.
Yes.
He's been in a million of things, especially in the 70s and 60s, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go to the tail of the tape. Like I said, November 27, 1985. It is a kids and family holiday fantasy, rated PG, and comes in at 1 hour and 47 minutes. That's asking a lot.
It's not a
Unless
terrible
it's
time.
no, it's not terrible. But if it's good, it's
But-
fine.
Yeah, but most kids and family movies tend to be shorter for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
All right, taglines. This year, he really is coming to town.
It's not bad. It's not great.
Guess who's coming to town?
I like that one better.
The legend comes to life. Seeing is believing.
I don't like that one.
Santa Claus, the spirit of Christmas, but who is he really?
This is not an in-depth like journalistic endeavor. Come on.
Ah. From the team who brought the 3 Superman blockbusters to the screen comes a story to stir the imagination and warm the heart.
See, if that had just said a story to stir the imagination and warm the heart, boom, you're done.
Yeah,
We don't care about the 3 Supermans.
like they were really banking on.
Yeah. We did the Supermans.
Yeah. All right, synopsis. In ancient times, a man named Klaus, David Huddleston, who delivers toys in his small village, fulfills his destiny to become Santa Claus after meeting an expert toy-making elf, Patch, Dudley Moore, in the North Pole. In the present day, Santa Claus has become overwhelmed by his workload, and the disgruntled Patch flees the workshop to New York City. There, Patch unknowingly threatens the fate of Christmas by taking a job at a failing toy company run by scheming businessman John Lithgow.
A classic Christmas tale.
Yeah. And there are 3 posters here. The middle one I remember, but I think that's the VHS cover.
Mm-hmm.
The one on the left and the one on the right. The one on the left is Seeing is Believing. It's hand drawn. You can tell Santa Claus the movie, the legend comes to life. And the one on the right is Guess Who's Coming to Town, hand drawn again, North Pole and the reindeer and the sleigh taken off. Actually, I like the posters. Those are actually not bad posters at all.
Yeah. No,
I like the one, the reindeer one.
The reindeer one is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
That one's definitely my favorite. And I like the one that is the Seeing is Believing. Because that one, like Dudley Moore and John Lithgow are together by the Christmas tree. There's Santa. There's a little bit of North Pole in his beard. There's the reindeer in the moonlight. And you're like, yeah. The other one, like, I'm like, why are they all in the sleigh together? That's weird.
Yeah, why is the bad guy in the sleigh?
Why is the bad guy in the sleigh? That I don't like. But I mean, the other 2 are great, but I really like the reindeer one. That one was good.
Yeah, it was I like that one too. If the movie's good, that'd be one would be worth putting up on the wall. But Rotten Tomatoes, 23 critic reviews comes in at 22%.
Woof.
10,000 audience members comes at 67%. Way different here. But not a lot of people. Like this is a forgotten Christmas movie.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Only 10,000. But yeah, critics and audience did not agree on this. So here, let's start with the positive. You may go first.
A holiday honey of a film for the entire family. Dolores Barclay, or Associated Press.
Ah, Dolores.
No, Dolores.
This is done in 2005. Even though some of its special effects are now dated, 21 years ago, Santa Claus the movie is a touching tale that deserves to be rediscovered by younger generations. Chuck O'Leary, fullviewdrivein.com, score B.
Dudley Moore is quite charming as Patch, simply because he was born to play an elf. But David Huddleston as Saint Nick himself has little to do because Santa is presented as a symbol of goodwill rather than a person. But he looks the part. William Major, BBC.com, 3 out of 5.
You have to love a movie that imagines a dystopic future in which the U.S. president is a former wrestler. Oh, I got the wrong.
That's the wrong movie.
That's Idiocracy.
Yes.
Colorful super spectacle suffers from script and pacing. Steve Crum, Kansas City, Kansan, 3 out of 5.
The core of the spectacular 1980s fantasy from the producers of Alexander and Ilya Salkind is a reimagining of their most famous franchise, Superman. What? Kevin Mayer, Times UK, 4 out of 5. Interesting.
All right, here's a rotten. I'll go first. A traditional seasonal hate watch for ironess and bad movie buffs the world over. Eddie Harrison, filmauthority.com, 1 out of 5.
This is the filmic equivalent of the uneaten toffee left at the bottom of the Quality Street tin. Peter Bradshaw, Guardian. Wow.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot.
Do you see how expensive Quality Street has gotten? Do you buy
So
Quality Street?
expensive. I do buy Quality Street every once in a while.
It's like
not every year, but
$27 now.
yeah,
What
and you
the
get less. I'm
and
like, dude.
you get the tin is smaller and you get less chocolate. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are you people doing?
That's some bullshit right there. That's some
Just
bullshit.
before COVID, we bought Quality Streets for all the kids to give to their teachers and stuff, and I think it was like $12.99 or something like that. But it's a higher quality chocolate, so whatever. $26?
It's fucking ridiculous. Although I am waiting a couple more weeks before I go into one of my favorite British stores to buy all the discounted advent calendars.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Good chocolate.
Is that me or you?
I have no idea.
I think you did Quality Street.
Yeah, I did Quality Street. You go.
So horrible, I didn't even like it when I was a member of its target audience. Alex Sandell, Juicy Cerebellum, 0 out of 5.
Jesus. Overblown and dull, it's not surprising that this film is largely forgotten. Phil Villarreal, Arizona Daily Star, 2 out of 5.
Dated 80s holiday movie has smoking and product placement. So we have that to look forward to. Brian Costello, Common Sense Media, 2 out of 5.
Jesus.
All right, IMDb. 16,000 user ratings, comes in at 6.3 out of 10.
Oh.
So
That's
it's
not
kind of with
bad.
the audience on Rotten Tomatoes. Because they were 67%, 6.3. Yeah, pretty close. So
Yeah.
right, here we go. You may go first.
I like this. Oh, why put this film down? I like this film as it is a proper Christmas film with a proper Santa. Okay, maybe it's not the strongest storyline, but what Christmas film has? 10 out of 10, Sally 32.
That's true. Most Christmas movies, the Christmas storyline, unless it's a drama, but
True.
comedy and family ones, the storyline's pretty thin, like Home Alone. A Christmas Treat, 9 out of 10. Rob Man 5.
Christmas movie that dares to point a finger at the dangers of the current commerciality of Christmas. 8 out of 10. Cap and Kiwi.
Cheesy Holiday Fun. Evil Will Hunting, 633. Prisoner number 904681.
Magical but often clumsy Christmas adventure. 6 out of 10. Ionic Breeze Machine.
2 movies in one. The first half of the movie was terrific. The second half was tedious and boring. 5 out of 10. Mika Vankant? What? Micah Cantant?
It's either Mika Yakintant
Yakitant?
or Mika Yaka TNT.
Sure.
For a movie based on a joyous occasion, I didn't find it very joyous. 4 out of 10. Distressed. 12.
As a present, this film is best left unwrapped. 3 out of 10. M. Brooks, 8.
Anti-capitalist greed brought to you by McDonald's and Coca-Cola. 2 out of 10. Oxy 16554.
And yeah, the one reviewer was like, there's a lot of smoking and product placement, and this is supposed to be an anti-corporate, yet it's filled with
corporate commercialism.
I hate this movie. Hated it. With $50 million to work with, you'd think a well-done movie could be made. It wasn't the case here. 1 out of 10. Spiffy.
Wow.
Or Spy-Fi. All
That's
right.
amazing.
Okay. I'm a little worried.
But yeah, me too. Let's see if I remember this movie.
Well, let us watch the trailer and see if that helps.
The prophecy has come to pass that there would come to us a chosen one, and that he himself would be an artisan and a skilled maker of toys. From this day on, now and forever, he will bring our gifts to all the children in all the world. This is your legacy and your gift, as is the gift of flight.
It's them!
Every year, the magic happens again.
Merry Christmas! It certainly should be.
Until now.
What are you? I'm an elf. An elf? Yes. You mean like a fairy?
I mean, I'm talking modern methods of production here. I'm talking assembly line. I'm talking way for the future.
Now, someone wants to take the magic out of Christmas.
We say bigger, better. It's going to cost you.
Cost? Cost who?
The people who buy the toy.
Well, nothing. We're going to give them away free.
What, free?
Well, that's how we do it at the North Pole.
Well, that's not how we do it here. Santa Claus is finished.
I just wanted him to see what a good assistant I could be.
Only one man can stop him. Only one man can help us. And he's coming to take you for a sleigh ride in the stars. Alexander Salkind presents Dudley Moore and John Lithgow. The legend comes to life for the very first time. With all the magic, all the adventure, all the wonder. Santa Claus the Movie. Seeing is believing. An Alexander and Ilya Salkind production.
Wow. That last shot with the dark city, that looked pretty good.
Yeah, they green screened the crap out of like the majority of those scenes.
I could see where the $50 million with the set pieces looked very
Yes.
big and elaborate, and they used every special effects that was
Yes.
available in 1984, 85 and
Also-
slapped it up on that screen.
The number of extras that they would have to have for those big, I was like, damn,
Yeah.
that's expensive.
John Lithgow looks over the top, which could be great.
When he did that maniacal laugh, I was like, dude,
Like that's
you're
like,
really like going for that.
yeah.
Like hardcore.
I have a feeling this movie's going to be dated,
Yes.
special effects wise.
Yes.
I do love Dudley Moore, and I really John Lithgow is one of my favorite actors. He
Mm.
can just do anything and everything, from creepy to funny. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like
No, he's amazing.
yeah.
They're
Like-
very talented people in this movie. Let's see if we like it.
I'm hoping that was not a great trailer.
No, it wasn't.
The special effects look horrid.
They do, but I'm not one to hold the special effects against
No.
them.
No, as long as the story is fun and
Yeah.
yeah,
Like we'll see what we get. We'll see
Yeah.
what we get.
yeah. All right.
Oh.
Well, we are going to go watch Santa Claus the Movie from 1985, not the Tim Allen one.
No.
And when we get back, we are going to review it.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And now, on with the show.
Did you watch 1985's the Santa Claus the movie or Santa Claus the movie, whatever it's called?
I did indeed.
And what are your initial thoughts?
The fuck was that? That was my initial that's still my thought. To this look, I watched it yesterday, right? Because I was like, let me make sure I got some errands to run tomorrow. I'm like, let me make sure I can have the time to watch this movie. So I watched this movie yesterday. And still to right now, I'm like, the fuck was that?
Yeah.
The fuck? They spent half the movie giving me a Santa Claus origin story, which I'm not mad at. I was like,
That's
pretty
actually my
cute.
note.
Yeah, I was like, I love this. And then all of a sudden, it was like a modern day anti-capitalism, but not anti-capitalism. But it was so weird. I was like, what is this? And why are we just leaving homeless children homeless for an entire year?
Yeah.
What the fuck is happening?
See you next year, buddy.
I'm glad you had fun.
Good luck finding some food.
Oh my god.
It's
okay.
weird.
I let you eat some of my Oreos this year, so you're good for a year.
Yeah. I felt like it needed more time, like story-wise. At the same time, it seemed way too long.
Oh yeah.
Like I like you, I said the origin story ran a lot longer than I remembered or expected.
Yeah.
And they fleshed it out they fleshed the shit out of it. And then John Lithgow, who is basically Dick Sullivan from Third Rock from the Sun here.
Yes.
And that story seemed like it needed a lot more time. It needed a lot more to go into it or more to happen because it seemed really quick. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
The Santa Claus origin story only needed 15 minutes. 15,
yeah,
20
you could have
minutes.
done 15, 20 minutes, and that would have been long enough.
They tell me how Santa Claus became Santa. They literally, I checked, and it was like 58 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I guess this is like the story of Santa Claus and how he evolves. Great. And then I'm like, whoa, now, but I was like, but where does John Lithgow come in? And then he came in eventually. First, it was some children's.
Yeah.
And then it was Patch the elf, who was desperate for a promotion and did shoddy workmanship. And in order to prove that he was a good elf, he fucking disappears and then makes flying candy. I'm like, what? There were two movies that they kind of spliced together. And I'm like, you could have given me one or the other. I would have been happy with either one. This is not it.
Yeah. No, it was a weird. It wasn't
terrible.
Horrible. No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't good either.
It wasn't good. Exactly. It wasn't good either. But it wasn't terrible. Like I was like, oh, sweet schmaltzy Santa Claus origin story. Perfect. No problem. Then I was like, oh, the evils of capitalism and how it seems to be taking over Christmas, and it's no longer about the spirit of giving and being kind to each other and yada yada yada. I'm like, those are two movies.
Coca-Cola, McDonald's is all just front and center.
I have a note about the McDonald's scene. And we
I
can talk
knew
about
it.
that when we go through it.
I knew it. That little girl was eating a Big Mac and it was fucking huge. She needed two hands and holding on to it like that. You can hold a Big Mac like this now.
It's so true. Honestly, I think they actually did like picture comparisons, and McDonald's used to be so much bigger back in the day.
Well, that little girl was eating a burger. It looked monstrous. It looked monstrous.
Oh God.
Yeah, and I will, for those listening, I will say that I will watch this again before I watch Mixed Nuts. I will watch this a bunch more times before I watch Mixed Nuts.
Same.
Yeah.
Mixed Nuts oh God, Mixed Nuts.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, no, this wasn't horrible, and it wasn't a classic Christmas. It wasn't. Well, we'll get there. We'll go through the movie.
We'll go through it, and we'll fully go. But yeah, no, it was funny because I was like, I'm not mad at the movie, but I'm not happy with it either.
Yeah. Everything looks like it was green screen or blue screen back then.
Yeah.
And even the stuff that wasn't, I thought, oh, that's blue screen. And then the kid ran what I thought was just a blue screen, and it was real. I'm like, why does it all look like this? It all looks.
There were a lot of things, and I was like, because there was one scene where it was a close up of them making something, and they were using some of that magical North Pole elf dust. So when they had it in the close up, they had the animated special effects to add sparkle and shine to it. Cool. But then they went into a wider shot, and that dust was still being sprinkled in the background, but there was no special effects. And that's all my eye could see.
Yeah.
Where'd the sparkle go? Where'd the sparkle? Oh shit, I missed all the dialogue. Let me rewind real quick. What were they talking about? I still don't remember what they were talking about to this day. This is some of the worst writing I've ever like in the beginning, like the first movie that they showed us in here, the first part, I was like, oh, okay, schmaltzy, decent, old timey, great. And then the second part, I was like, did somebody else write this part?
Yeah.
This is a very, very different. Who wrote this?
They
That's
should have
all.
stuck with the first one.
They should have just made the first one longer and been done with it.
Yeah. All right. In the Middle Ages, a woodcutter named Klaus delivers hand-carved toys to the children of his village each Christmas, accompanied by his wife Anya and their reindeer Donner and Blitzen. Yeah, so we get the old village waiting for them to come, and they're like all mopey, and then he finally shows up, and I don't think it's his village because he's going off to another village.
No, I think he goes to various villages and drops
delivers
off toys for the children. I was also like, that is the biggest cabin in the world, and I love how everybody's just hanging out all in one cabin.
Yeah, the whole
And
town.
that posed questions for me. I'm like, are they all related? Do they all live in this house? Is this like a town hall? What is happening here? Because nobody explains that. We just have Granny telling the story of the Wunderdumps, Wunderfrums, the
Oompa
elves.
Loompas.
The little people.
Yeah.
The little people. Who, by the way, are not little.
No, not at all.
I was like,
they're short.
They're shorter men.
And some of
They're
them
not-
are, I'll get into that too. And then the one lady says, well, he cuts wood all year for all the towns. And then where does he find the time to make all these toys? And she's like, he likes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they can't have children.
Yes.
Right.
They don't have
Right.
children, so they give gifts to the children of the world.
Right.
Or
And,
at least the
and he
surrounding
calls
towns.
himself Uncle Klaus.
Yes.
Yeah. Upon leaving, they are caught in a blizzard and succumb to the cold. Yeah. This was a little cheesy.
First the reindeer go down.
Yeah.
They just lay down. By the way, those animatronic reindeer, amazing.
Yeah.
They were great. High praise. Also, apparently Donner has an anxiety disorder. Which I mean, fair. If you're being traipsed around all over on Christmas Eve, I'd have some anxiety too, especially if he's like through the I can't see the road, and what Donner and Blitzen just lay down, and I'm like, valid. And then Anya, or Aunt Anya, we'll call her Mrs. Klaus. She's all of a sudden like, oh no, I can't, and then she passes out.
Yeah.
And then he like sits next to her, holds her hand. He passes out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you guys killing Santa Claus? Like, is that what's happening?
Yeah. And have you never seen Empire Strikes Back? You cut the bellies of your reindeer open and you climb inside to keep warm. That will save you. You'll be down 2 reindeer.
You'll be down 2 reindeer. It's super gross and dirty.
Yeah, it probably not smell that great.
Yeah. And I mean,
but Santa Claus is like, well, I guess I'm gonna die. Anya's already dead, so just lay back.
He just like sits down next to her, and then he like passes out too. And I was like, I don't. You're not even gonna try to find shelter.
Nope.
You're not gonna turn the sled over and then like shelter yourselves within it. No, nothing. Just gonna be like, cool, we go die. Okay.
And I don't know if it's the Star of David or Baby Jeebus, but the star comes out and I guess warms them up.
The North Star. That
North
was
Star.
part of the story from the old lady.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the North Star. And basically she was describing the Aurora Borealis, the colors in the sky. And I was like, oh, this is a nice story. Anyway, so that comes in, and then the little people walk out.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not even little people. They're
like
short
5'7".
They're
Yeah.
just, yeah.
They're literally
Slightly
like
below average.
Yeah, they're slightly below average height for a man.
Yeah.
That's it.
They are magically transported to the North Pole and resurrected, where they encounter the resident elves with their magic workshop. Lead elf Dudley explains that their coming was prophesied, that it was Klaus destiny to deliver the toys made by the elves to all the children of the world, and that they, like the elves, will live forever. So they go, they see the North Pole and Santa's home or whatever appear.
Yes, but at this point, it's not Santa's home, and this is where I had an issue because I was like, "Who's Santa replacing?
Yeah.
Like,
Or they
who's
just
been
been
giving toys
waiting
to
for
the
him.
children, or have they just been making toys and
They
waiting
just
for him to show?"
So they should have like a backload of fucking toys.
They
should have, like,
did. There was a good stock going on, but I was like, "So, like, you guys have just been sitting there making toys for like
hoping
centuries,
some
maybe
guy will
millennia?"
wander upon you.
Yeah, I was like, "This is weird, but okay, I'll run with it."
Yeah. So you're waiting for one guy and hoping that he's the right one.
Yeah.
What if it's an axe murderer? What if
Then
it's
he
a pedophiler?
a pedophile.
And you're sending him to all the children of the world. Nice going, elves.
I feel like the prophecy was a little more efficient in vetting who would fill that prophecy. I hope it's
Yeah.
a wood carver man who
Carves toys.
carves toys for children
Yeah.
of the villages, the multiple villages, and he'll go out in a snowstorm and deliver those toys.
The following Christmas Eve. Oh, so they explain everything here. They explain
Yes.
what's going to they kind of leave because they're still kind of bewildered about what's going on, but they get the gist of what's going. I like when he's going to the bathroom or something and he's like, "Aren't you going to get some sleep?" And because they've never had a mattress before, she's so comfortable.
Yeah, she's like, "This mattress is just so comfortable.
Yeah.
I can't go to sleep. I don't want to miss any of it." And I'm like, "Girl, get to sleep."
Yeah, wait till you get an iPhone. The following Christmas Eve, the oldest elf dubs Claus Santa Claus. That was Rocky's coach there, and the original Penguin.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
I can't remember his name now for the life of me. I should have this up.
Burgess Meredith.
That's it. And
look at
he dubs him Santa Claus and explains that the night will last as long as it takes for him to deliver toys to every child on Earth. No wonder he's fucking tired.
Right?
Yeah.
That I did appreciate about
There was a neat little
it shows that he actually gets tired. And that they do work all year round preparing for Christmas, and then he gets really it's a lot of work to deliver all those toys. I'm like, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Donner and Blitzen join 6 other reindeer and are fed hay sprinkled with magic powder that enables them to fly. Pulling Santa's sleigh through the air as the centuries pass, much of the mythology and tradition surrounding Santa Claus develop. I did like how they went and the time went on and the years went on and the centuries went on.
I like that.
Yeah. Toys didn't change much, but
no, exact same toys.
Yeah. It wasn't until we got to the 80s where all the kids were all little jerks and he started questioning his purpose in life. Here we go. By the late 20th century, Santa is exhausted by his ever-growing workload, and Anya suggests that he enlist an assistant. 2 elves compete for the position: Puffy, who follows traditional toy-making methods, and Patch, who has many ideas for modernization. Patch being Dudley Moore.
Mhm.
His stuff starts out, but then it starts to mess up. And
well, that's because Patch is very much about automation.
Yeah.
And he builds these little machines which look like giant toys, giant wooden toys, to make smaller wooden toys. And then his machines don't work, and apparently nobody was on quality control.
No.
Nobody decided to test the toys out before sending them out to a bunch of children all over the world.
Yep. Patch wins by designing a machine to increase production through automation. There we go. But unbeknownst to him, it begins to malfunction and produce shoddy toys. In New York City, Santa befriends homeless orphan Boy Joe and takes him for a ride in his sleigh. They successfully attempt the Super Duper Looper, a vertical loop maneuver which always fails due to Donner's
No, they didn't achieve it.
No, they didn't. They weren't able to achieve it. That's right.
No, they were not. Because Donner has anxiety.
Yeah.
And that's okay. They just haven't found the right medication and therapy for him.
They also meet wealthy orphan girl Cornelia, who befriends Joe. She's not an orphan.
No, she is, because she lives with her step
Oh,
uncle.
step uncle, right?
Like, they kept saying, "Your step uncle, my step uncle," and I was like, "Wow, you guys are really pushing that. Like, they're
Yeah.
not blood related."
Yeah, usually it's just uncle,
Yeah, I was like,
or even uncle by marriage.
yeah, or like I have never, mind you, I've never had a step parent, but like you wouldn't call them. No, that's my step uncle.
No, like
Either
because I had family friends that were close to like my parents that we called aunt and uncle, and they weren't
Oh.
even aunt and uncle.
Well, we have family. I say family. We're not blood related in any way, shape, or form. They're just super close family friends. And I call all of the kids like cousins. Those
Yeah.
are my cousins. Like you don't, it was just weird that they kept saying step uncle. And I was
Yeah.
like,
I think
this is
it's to
creepy.
kind of make it kind of creepy or make them kind of villainous.
Or just, of course it's creepy. But also it just, I think I was like, wow, they're really driving home the point that this is not, like, they're not close. They are not family. This is very much, she's being neglected. Rich,
Yeah.
but neglected.
Which is fine. You could be poor and neglected like Joe out there in the freezing cold.
True. Joe is beyond poor.
Yeah.
He's straight up homeless. Santa
wouldn't
Claus
mind
is all
being-
like, have fun in my sled. Bye.
Yeah, I'm sure Joe wouldn't mind being rich and neglected.
Right.
When the toys produced by Patch's machine fall apart on Christmas Day, he resigns in disgrace and leaves the North Pole, winding up in New York City. Meanwhile, now we're not even halfway through this. Well, we're about halfway through, maybe.
No, we're a little more than halfway through at this point.
Oh, the movie, yes.
The movie, yes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the BZ Toy Company, run by Cornelia's unscrupulous step-uncle, BZ, is facing shutdown by the government for producing unsafe toys. I kind of like this. Like, he is he might as well had a big mustache that he twirled.
Yes.
On the railroad. Like, he was
100%.
just over the top. I like when they set the doll, they throw the cigarette down and just bursts into
Yeah, and it
flames.
bursts into flames. And I'm like, honestly, that's not that far from like most toys in the 80s. So I don't know why everybody's so upset.
And I'm like, he's like, oh, I always said that smoking will kill you.
As he's smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
And they empty that fucking teddy bear and it's full of glass and nails.
Nails.
I'm like, why would you put that in your teddy?
I was like, dude, that's excessive. But I guess they were really driving home the point. Like,
yeah,
he wants to try and kill your children, or he doesn't care if your children die from these. It's fine.
Seeing the company's toys being pulled from a storefront, Patch mistakenly thinks they are very popular and approaches BZ about a job. Hoping to redeem himself in Santa's eyes, he creates lollipops laced with magic powder. You can really take this the wrong way if you haven't seen the movie. Where am I?
You're where Patch is drugging the children.
Yeah, there
so
we
that
go.
they can fly.
It's the powder that allows the reindeer to fly, and a flying car which he uses to deliver them to the world's children on Christmas Eve. Yeah, because he's like, let's build some toys, and I have an idea, and he's like, we need to get on TV in a commercial. And which one?
Everywhere, all
of
over.
them.
It's gonna cost so much money, and
We're gonna give it away for free.
And BZ loses his shit. Then he's
Yeah.
like, we'll give it away for free this Christmas, but next Christmas, if it's a hit, we'll do it then. And we'll make everybody pay like $100. You're like, $100 for a lollipop? Yo, man. Like, I know it makes you fly, but it doesn't make you fly forever.
No.
Like, come on. But yeah, through this entire thing, I was just like, I had a really hard time with the entire premise of like, he disappoints Santa, and I get it. Nobody wants to disappoint Santa. But he just like gives up his assistant job. Cool. Disappears from the North Pole. I don't think he actually tells anyone where he's going. He just leaves. Goes to New York. And then without even checking to see who he's working with is all like, you, sir, let's make toys.
Yeah, let's make toys.
Let's make toys. And let's give candy for free to all the children.
Yeah.
Let's sneak into their houses and give them the candy for free.
Yeah. No, that doesn't
great.
set off any red flags.
None
No.
whatsoever.
Just give some free candy to children and
Free candy that's been laced with powder.
yeah, special powder, all natural ingredients.
Let's sneak into kids' houses and leave them for yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The lollipops allow people to fly, making them an instant sensation and leaving Santa feeling obsolete and disheartened.
Mhm.
BZ convinces Patch to strengthen the formula and put it in candy canes, planning to launch his own holiday on March 25th called Christmas 2.
Yes.
This really watching John Lithgow, it made me want to watch Third Rock from the Sun. That's all it did. Because this was just kind of silly and over the top, which was fine if it was.
If that was the vibe of the whole movie,
yeah, it would have been fine.
Done.
But it kind of took went off in a different direction.
It felt
halfway
like
through.
John Lithgow was in a different movie from almost everybody else.
Yeah.
And it was kind of jarring. And I'm like, I think that might have been a director's note to him because also his dialogue was super like evil villain with no redeemable qualities, which I mean I'm fine with. But because he overplayed it, I'm like, this is too much because everybody else around you is not enough to match you.
And that big reveal when Cornelius or whatever her name is, the little girl,
Yeah.
goes in to say hi to her uncle, and it turns around. He's like, it's him. It's like, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's not that type of villain.
There was a lot of this movie that I was just like, what the fuck? Why was that a choice?
Cornelia and Joe overhear BZ plotting. Oh, yeah. So Joe was, almost dying outside, and she invites him inside, and they get warm and eat. And then they overhear BZ plotting to oust Santa as a figurehead of Christmas. And then they kidnap Joe.
I have so many problems with it.
They should just killed him.
Honestly, they probably should have.
Although when they're
up in the factory or in the basement.
Because that guy comes in and tells BZ that when the candy canes get too hot, they literally explode. And he's like, well, we're not going to tell anyone. We'll just take all the money, let the elf take the thing, and we'll just go to an extradited country and retire. I'm like, damn, that's kind of dark.
Also, I think it's super. I'm like, so you're just going to take all the money? Like, what? I'm like, it felt. I almost didn't take it seriously. I was not worried about the children in this movie. Like, normally you'd be like, oh, Jesus, what's wrong with you? But I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that fits. Yeah. You'd be the kind of guy who'd just blow up a bunch of children because you apparently don't care. And that's cool. But it was like, it fell flat for me.
Cornelia further overhears BZ's assistant, Towser, share his discovery that the candy canes explode. When exposed to extreme heat, BZ plans to take Towser and their money and flee to Brazil, letting Patch take the fall for their dangerous product. Cornelia writes to Santa, who rushes to help despite two of his reindeer being sidelined by illness. Yeah, she throws it in the mailbox. It instantly ends up at Santa's.
No, she leaves it on her desk and it gets sucked up into the chimney.
And when they were doing the first giveaway, they had the big commercial scene and they had all this. They really could have built on this a lot more. Like you said, they only need 15, 20 minutes of that origin story.
Yep.
And they could have, they went in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're going to tell, like, the first half of the movie is the origin story. And I'm like, you could have just tacked on another half an hour where you bring Santa into modern day. Yeah. And you meet Joe and there's a crisis of faith and, like, oh, nobody believes in Santa anymore. Okay, let's make them believe. Okay, great. Joe, come back with us to the North Pole. We'll give you the family that you've always wanted. Great. Beautiful story. Or you could have given me a 15, 20-minute Santa origin story, brought it into modern day and had the BZ, capitalist, like, just it's all about the money, and then Patch trying to bring the spirit of Christmas, and then Santa coming in and saving the day. Beautiful. They fucked up making this movie. I'm
just responding to a thing here. Yeah. Okay. So, Roger is saying it only flopped in the U.S. It was number 1 around the world. Family movies all disappointed financially that year. Yes, Explorers, Goonies did okay, but not anywhere near what they thought. Young Sherlock Holmes, The Explorers, they were all good movies too. And the original director was John Carpenter. What? Who wanted to cast Brian Dennehy? Yeah, that would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
And then instead of
Shut-
lollipops,
Yeah.
Carpenter's
And-
version would have had toy soldiers that come alive. Unless the toy soldiers kill all the children, I don't want to watch that movie.
Or they ate the lollipops and there was an alien seed inside and they came bursting out of their throats and shit.
I'd watch that movie.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Then you know which parents are eating their kids' candy because they're the ones with the weird alien popping out.
Yeah, and Kurt Russell busts through the door and flame throws everybody. That'd be awesome. I'd watch that movie. That'd be
I'd
awesome.
watch that movie. 100%. Actually, I think there's a movie there. Santa has a psychotic break and sends out toy soldiers that come alive and just start killing people.
Actually, he says here, Carpenter's version would have had toy soldiers come along.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I'm saying that's the movie. That's the movie right there. Santa has a psychotic break. Or even better, one of the elves loses his shit and in secret sends out these killer toy soldier toys.
Yeah, because something I think that version might have been a little better because the guy who directed this, where did he direct? He directed Jaws 2, which we were kind of iffy on. It was fun, but it wasn't great. And he directed Supergirl, and I don't remember that movie, but I remember not really liking it back in the 80s.
I remember that movie. Sorry. I remember Supergirl, and it was not good.
No.
It was not good. And I was so sad because I loved like Superman and Supergirl. Like I was very into it, and I was like, "This is what you're gonna give me for Supergirl."
And you could have had John Lithgow be the villain in John Carpenter's horror Christmas one here that we're talking about.
Yeah,
that'd been awesome.
That'd be great.
Now I'm kind of disappointed in this movie. This movie really fucking sucks. Patch finds Joe bound and gagged in the toy factory basement and frees him. Seeing a wood carving resembling Patch that Santa made for Joe, Patch realized that Santa misses him. He and Joe take off for the North Pole in his flying car, and the candy canes loaded in the trunk, unaware that they are becoming unstable. Santa and Cornelia pursue in Santa's sleigh. As the car explodes, they successfully perform the super duper looper, saving Joe and Patch. The police, alerted by Cornelia, have arrested Towser and BZ, other henchmen Grizzard, and attempt to arrest BZ too, but he eats several of the magic candy canes and jumps out a window and floats upward uncontrollably to space.
That was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. When he shoved that candy canes into his mouth.
Yeah, that was and he's just
that was pretty funny. I'll give that. I'll give him that.
Santa agrees to let Joe and Cornelia live at his workshop and celebrate with the elves. Yeah. Okay, you had $50 million. I really did not like this last scene. And when they brought out all the elves dancing, you could have went to any dance, whatever, to get dancers. I'm sure they're not that tall. These people look like they were released on some sort of prison outreach program. Like some of the men that were in there, they didn't look like they were that happy to be there.
Oh no, 100%. Not. Well, I mean, can you imagine the casting call for that? We need background actors.
Yeah, you get there, you're an
5'8" and under, and that's it. Like that's your entire 5'8" and under, and now we're gonna have you dance, sir. I'm only here to be short.
Yeah,
sorry, shorter than average.
Now dance jollily.
Now
Whatever.
Dance like you're happy to be making handmade wooden toys for random children all over the world.
Yeah, in the 80s.
In the 80s.
When all the kids wants is a fucking Cabbage Patch doll.
Oh, true.
Yeah. And that is our movie. That's it. I would have rather watched the John Carpenter one, but we got this one. So what are you gonna do? What's your score?
My score is a hardcore skip it. Because even though the movie wasn't horrible, it wasn't good enough to warrant a watch. It felt like it was two warring movies One movie was the Santa origin story. The other one was how the spirit of Christmas has been bastardized with capitalism. Both very good stories to tell. They just needed to pick one, and I think they kind of lost focus in what the look and the feel of the movie was supposed to be. And so you end up just I was bored through most of it. I was like, where is this going? Like, I don't know where this is going. And some of it was over the top, some of it was underacted, some of it just didn't make sense for the characters that they had already established. So it was just one of those where it doesn't even leave you like I've watched a lot of bad Christmas movies, okay? Like a lot of them. I'm addicted to Hallmark and Lifetime Christmas movies and all the other like I don't care who makes them. Netflix, I'm going to have a Netflix Christmas movie marathon this weekend. Cuz why not? And that one has like naked dancing Chad Michael Murray. He's not fully naked, but only partially naked, and Maxwell Caulfield. So I'm like, I like a good bad Christmas movie. This was not a good bad Christmas movie. This was just a mediocre. They tried.
Yeah.
And also you can tell it was written for television because of the commercial breaks.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Yeah.
I made a note about that. Why does it's like they made it for TV and then someone said, you know what? We spent $50 million on this fucking thing.
Yeah.
We should try to put it in theaters.
Well, and it's so weird because you can get like you can still have the commercial, but they really were like, and this is a commercial break.
Yeah,
And
we're
you're
gonna
like,
sell the shit out of this for network TV
you're
on
like,
Christmas
oh
time.
shit, that was a lot of commercial breaks. I'm like, wait. And then I realized halfway through, I said, this movie has an incredibly long runtime.
Yeah.
Like incredibly long. This movie would have been on air for 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
Minimum.
Well, yeah. It would, yeah, if you want to get all those commercials in.
With all the commercial breaks, it would have been on for 3 hours.
Maybe would have broken it up. Maybe that's what they like. Part 1 would be and then part 2 would be
it's literally 1 hour and 47 minutes in length.
Yeah.
God, that's long. For every 45 minutes of content, you usually have about 15 minutes of commercial time, and then also on-air promotions or things like that if you need to fill it, if you don't sell all the commercial time. But you're also looking at about maybe 16 minutes. I think the max you can have in an hour is 16 minutes according to CRTC rules.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. So if this had aired in Canada, what we're looking at is bare minimum 2.5, 3 hours. They probably would have played it for 3 hours because you're coming in between the 2.5 and the 3 hour mark. So they would have played it for 3 hours. 3 hours. 3 hours on television with almost an hour of commercials.
Yeah. Ugh. It's gross.
It is terrible, but also at the same time, look, I think they could have had something with one movie or the other. But they decided to make 2 movies at once. And I think that's what fucked them over. Because I think I might have liked the origin story and I might have liked the anti-capitalism story. I don't like them together.
Yeah,
but it's not worth for the length that it is. And it doesn't leave you feeling warm and fuzzy about Christmas. It just kind of leaves you feeling bored and kind of annoyed.
One guy floated off to space.
One guy floated off to space in really bad, like green screen. Just terrible.
Santa abducted 2 children.
For a year. I'll bring you back next Christmas. I'm like, sir, you've already proven that you can fly the reindeer mid-year.
No, we're gonna take you back to
No, we're just gonna kidnap 2 random children. Anyway.
Oh, don't worry about all those elves that look like they're in here. They're in prison for doing things to children.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
It's all right.
What's your rating?
See, I was gonna say stream it just for something new. There's so much Christmas shit out there now.
Mm-hmm.
I would really I find it hard pressed to try to even. It's not that it's an okay movie. It's all right, but I mean, if you're someone that starts in like as soon as Halloween's over and you start in November, and you just plow through Christmas movies. I watch the odd one here now. Now, starting this weekend is where we'll be watching Christmas movie every night. A couple, maybe the odd time, a double feature, like on the weekends. Yeah, I don't know. I say, fuck. I would skip it. It's not that great.
Honestly, for the amount of Christmas content that's out there, you don't need this in your watch list.
No, like I would only suggest it like if you really, really plow, like just go right through your Christmas watching. Other than that, Roger here says that Canon nearly made a Santa Claus 2 in '87.
For what?
That would have been
For
awesome.
what?
Because Canon, I think, were they the people that did Masters of the Universe?
Oh shit.
They're known for taking properties
Yeah.
and doing them on the cheap. Actually,
No,
if that's the same company, I still have to watch that documentary.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The wildlife of the wild west of Canon production company. I can't remember what it's called. If you're listening to this, we did a movie review on Masters of the Universe. I don't know if Canon was the one that did it, but there is a documentary about that production company that looks freaking amazing. That's not much help. Anyway, Santa Claus. Yeah, I would say skip it. It's just not. There's so much out there that's so great. I got the Rankin Bass Blu-ray of all the Rankin Bass cartoons. And then when you look at like classics like Home Alone and Christmas Vacation and Scrooged and Christmas Story, and every year they're bringing out. I'm watching Red One this weekend.
Me too.
That's
on my list for this weekend. There's just so many.
The Grinch and cartoons that have specials. And
Muppet Christmas Carol.
The Muppet Christmas Carol. That's always a good one.
Watch that on repeat. And then there are a lot of Disney cartoons and characters that have Christmas movies and things like that. They do
and shorts
and shorts. There's so much content out there. And also, never mind all of the TV shows that end up doing Christmas episodes. And
I like going back and watch. And actually, Disney actually has a whole list category of just Christmas specials of TV
I'm like,
shows.
Perfect, let's go. So you have access to so much content that when it's just mediocre filler content, I'm like, you don't have to watch it.
And what's that one Netflix did? They're calling it the new Die Hard. He's working at the airport. And he's got to try to find. Actually, I think it's called Carry On.
Is it called Carry On? It's with Taron.
It's the guy who did. Right? Yeah, he did the Rocket Man.
Yes, and he also did the
Kingsman.
Kingsman.
He's been in a shitload. Yeah, that looks fantastic.
He's been in so much stuff.
And actually, even the wussy Hallmark-esque Netflix movies are getting fairly good reviews.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So.
Yes, they are.
All right. Yeah. So I agree. Skip it.
Yeah. Sorry, Santa Claus the Movie.
I don't know if I've ever seen Elvis the Movie 1979. Ooh, Kurt Russell. I would like to see Elvis the Movie 1979 if it was directed by John Carpenter and Kurt Russell.
I would love to see that too. I don't think I have seen it.
I don't think. If I did, it would have been a long, long time ago.
We should totally watch it.
Yeah.
And then you know what we should do? We should watch an Elvis movie.
I was wondering, did Elvis ever do a Christmas movie? I don't think he did.
Didn't he do one called Blue Christmas?
He did an album.
No, I know he did an album, but I could have sworn.
I remember as a child that was played constantly. That and the Rat Pack Christmas.
Really?
Yeah.
I do Rat Pack Christmas now. That I listen to.
Oh, I love them now. Yeah. When I was a kid, I like Elvis Christmas. Come on. Oh, Blue Hawaii?
Yes.
Elvis Christmas movie.
There you go. Blue Hawaii. That's it.
And
I have watched that one.
I
watched that one a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know if I must have seen this. No. All right, so we got Elvis the Movie 1979. Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do. We'll pair them together.
Yeah, why not?
All right. All right, so we have 2 skip-its for Santa Claus the Movie 1985. Again, it's not a horrible movie. It's not mixed nuts.
No, it's not mixed nuts.
It's not mixed nuts.
Not mixed nuts.
No.
And going into it, I really had the thought, I was like, oh, it's just going to be a really nice, like, kind of family-centered Santa Claus origin story. We might get a little, like, let's revive the spirit of Christmas kind of towards the end. Perfect, whatever. And then it took a left, and I was like, this was not the movie.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't order the 4K. I would have been really upset. Really, really upset.
Did you buy it or rent it?
No, it was on AMC.
AMC
Plus.
Yes.
And Tubi had it, and Plex had it, but they had it with commercials, which is all right sometimes, but I just put it on AMC.
Yeah. And
watch it there. All right. Well, thanks for coming back to 1985 with us, and unfortunately watching Santa Claus the Movie 1985. If you watch it on your own. Yeah. Don't watch something else. There's lots more better out there.
If you watch it, don't blame us. How about that?
Yeah. We told you so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until the next movie we remember liking.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.